Hello ladies and gentlemen and welcome back. We are playing All Quiet in the Trenches once more on the channel because we have just had update 0.7. The battle update has been released, and so we are going to take a look at some of the new features in the game by doing another playthrough. We are, as per always, going to go through the tutorial. I kind of like the extra bit of story that it gives in. Going to go for hard mode, and we're also going to put a single save game on. There is no going back. Once it's happened, it has happened. Let's click to continue. Hopefully, during this first episode, we will be able to see some of the updates they've put in. Like I said, it's called the battle update. It focuses on the battle aspect of the game as opposed to the camp or the trench phase. And of course, this comes in after the last update, which was a little while ago and has been featured on the channel, which was all about the trench phase and building, not quite buildings, fortifications, whilst you're there ready for the battle phase. And so, as we begin, Monday, March 1st, 1915. I could still hardly believe that a few days ago, back home, I had been appointed under-officer in charge of this handful of men. And here they were, sneaking through the trenches behind me, not 100 meters from the enemy positions, with heavy packs and dwindling strength. Florian Mail's thoughts still seemed to be firmly at home, and he still appeared to be treating this as a short trip. Florian Mail. I like Florian Mail, from what I remember. Karl Menk, smaller than his comrades, seemed pensive but alert. I also like Karl Menk. Alfred Lotz, badly shaven, had so far mainly caught my attention through his cynical remarks. Not a great fan of Alfred Lotz, I'm perfectly honest. And the last guy, Ferdinand Cumberbunt, looked small and lost. Our religious chaplain, who I'm very 50-50 on because he really does sometimes seem to bring the grace of God to your RNG. That's all I'm going to say. Exhausted, we finally found the dugout of Lieutenant von Karlsburg. We all hate Lieutenant von Karlsburg, to whom we had been assigned. There you are, Herr Unterofficer, he greeted me. You seem to have taken your time. Surely you are fit enough to start work straight away. The lieutenant's condescending gaze swept over my men and then rested appraisingly on me. Who do I try and score some brownie points with? I'm going to go for my men, because everything goes through your men, basically. They are your number one resource, because if they don't do something, you massively lose your prestige with the lieutenant anyway. And if they keep dwindling, then obviously you lose your morale with them also. So, the lieutenant's condescending gaze swept over my men, and I told him, my men are tired. My men are tired, Herr Lieutenant, I objected. The train broke down. We had to hurry so that we could arrive. The lieutenant raised his hand. Don't think you'll get away with your lazy excuses with me, Herr Unterofficer. I'll have to put that nonsense out of your mind. His contemptuous look pierced me. Find your sleeping quarters, then report back to me. In the meantime, I will think of a sufficiently difficult task for your group to learn right away that being tired really means here at the front. I looked at my men's faces. They looked dejected and angry, but also grateful for my attempts to stand up for them. Without so much as another glance at me, Lieutenant von Karlsburg turned back to the documents on his table. Welcome to the trenches, Herr Unterofficer. And so as you can see, the controls, we click, we can see things, we have... I'm only going to briefly run through these, by the way, folks. There's many playthroughs of this game now on the channel, which we can see all of this. So yes, we can easily click on them. We have different areas of camp. We have the quest, or most points someone wants to speak to me, an alert thing, or just move along. But can we go past? Maybe I should have turned off tutorial. I thought tutorial would have just skipped this phase. Maybe I should have actually turned it off. We have had, the first thing of this update I'd like to highlight is a change in symbols. For instance, I can see this one right now, that sufficient bandages. The symbol for the bandages has changed automatically. Plus, as you can see, we used to just have rations showing or ammunition showing when it was low. As you can see here, Rations, we did have the rations on there. We have rations for 2 days. So now I know how far I can push before I send someone to go get rations. We have lots of ammunition. Obviously, the more ammunition available, the more effectively my soldiers can carry out their tasks in combat. Once again, we were only ever shown when ammunition was low, so you couldn't really plan too much more forward. This, I think, is amazing. It gives you so much more forethought and being able to plan. And then we have sufficiently available bandages as well. Now, as you can see over here in the tasks, we have also changed to show good and bad things. As you can see here, available rations will increase. This is shown by a green arrow now, showing that this is a good thing. Risk of injury, red arrow, bad thing. Exhausting, double up red arrow, very bad thing. Effects per assigned soldier, obviously that's more of an information, stays the same. So as you can see down here as well, risk of injury. And the dice on the bottom now means... oh, it's a full RNG roll, ladies and gentlemen. This is where we start to get afraid. So anyway, let's speak to, of course, Lots. He's going to have something to complain about. Herr Unterofficer, we only have rations left that we took with us. Where are we supposed to get something to eat around here? Now, obviously, yes, the conditions, the things that come up on the turn, and my overall love from everybody. As you can see, my prestige is already low. My morale is neutral. And then the changes. Oh, this guy, we went from neutral. He is now respectful to me. And would you look at that as well? Now we can even see where the different relationship things come into play. Relationship is respectful, so morale improves. Low prestige, and then all of these. They have added all of these tooltips and so many more that I'm not even sure about at this precise point. So let's just say all of this extra information is going to be fantastic. The more you know, the more you can plan. So let's continue. Took you long enough. There's no time to get comfortable. Go and gather your men. A communication trench has collapsed and must be rebuilt immediately. You'll have to take care of your supplies yourself. Send somebody to the supply depot for that. Yes, and then we have, of course, the thing on projects. Now, all of my guys, as you can see, are going to be used up. Can we see? We can't see left and right in this one. Usually we can if we're in the trench. And we can see our building projects. Now, as you can see here, there's a risk of injury. And it's a roll of the dice. It is extremely exhausting. 3 up. And the delay will have consequences. So, to fetch rations, let's have a quick look at our guides and remind ourselves. We have Male, who is on standard rations, which does decrease our food. Even on these, look, and it is relaxing, which means it makes your tiredness go down, which is fantastic. However, it only goes down by 1 arrow. Green arrows down, even though it is a down arrow, the green arrow indicates it's a good thing because it's removing a negative effect. One, like I said, these little up and down arrows, amazing, absolutely fantastic. Relationship, he has camaraderie, which greatly improves morale. He is also dexterous. And then let's have a look at his actual stats. He's somewhat cautious, he is very pragmatic, somewhat patriotic, and very sociable. Moving across, we have Lots. He is trained in shooting. Fantastic. He has just come up to respectful. We'll see if we can earn him all the way to be our BFF. He is fairly tolerant. He is very pragmatic. Fairly unpatriotic. Fairly courageous. Fairly sociable. And fairly outspoken. Commandant, he is faltering. Wound recovery worsens and morale worsens. He is also strained. Standard rations. He is slow, he is attentive, and he is clumsy. He is also respectful. He is very cautious, very diplomatic, somewhat intolerant, completely by the book, somewhat patriotic, fairly sociable, and very compassionate. I like it. We're having a sociable group so far. Let's have a look at this guy as well. Not too sociable. He is somewhat jaded, a bit by the book, fairly tolerant, very distant. Oh, Menk. Don't you all just want to get everybody to give him a group hug? And he is very courageous. A strong silent type. And then, as you can see, he is also attentive and dexterous. This is a good starting 4, I think. We'll see who we get after this initial phase in the interim, but this is a good starting for. And so on that, to fetch rations, yep, project details, we are going to send Cumberbund. He is already faltering. We don't want to push him too far. Now, this on then the other hand, we are going to stick all 3 guys to maintain the trench and not annoy the good old lieutenant any further because prestige is already low. Of course, the lower your prestige, the more jobs he gives you because, quite frankly, he just doesn't like you. Is it fair? No, it's not. But, well, that's the lieutenant for you. We now have rations for 3 days. We went down 1, but because we did the task, we went up by 2, which is fantastic. Now, lieutenant, how can I help you? Herr Unterofficer, your group is on night watch tonight. Make sure your men don't fall asleep. And that seems to be that. We still have good ammunition, rations for 3 days or more, and sufficient bandages. Just 1 job. There is a fairly high risk of injury, and it is exhausting. Now, on the other hand, very pragmatic. Now, these guys are completely by the book. Now, there are 2 of my guys. Yep, we've seen this. He is attentive, as was, I want to say, Menk is also attentive. And this guy is trained in shooting, but I don't think that's going to help. So I am actually going to put... I want to rest Cumberbund if I'm honest, but I do want to put Menk on it at least. Let's put him on it. He is attentive, and he is a bit by the book. Now, the other 2 who think they're just guideline. A bit worried about putting them on it, to be honest. I am going to put Cumberbund. Obviously, he needs his rest, but they are both very attentive. I'm hoping they come back with good news, and I can score some more brownie points for the lieutenant. Oh, what do we have? Wednesday, March 3rd. Oh, yay. A few hours ago, the roar of artillery had begun. At first, it was as quiet as the rumble of thunder in the distance. But recently, it had become steadily louder and more threatening. Suddenly, there was a thud, and not 10 meters from the hiding spot where my men were huddled, an artillery shell shredded the dugout of our neighboring troop. Pieces of wood and metal flew for meters, and smoke obscured the view. The noise was deafening for a few seconds, then died away as quickly as it had come. An almost eerie, silent gasp of shock passed. When my men and I jumped up, pushed aside broken beams, and searched for our buried comrades. We found 2, for whom all help came too late. A third, however, we could still hear panting. He was lying with his upper body trapped under the fallen beams. His face was distorted with pain, and he was barely conscious. My men stood around him, forlorn, and looked over to me for help. Cumberbund said pleadingly, "Herr Unterofficer, we must try to help him." Together we lifted the beam from his chest, and only now saw the full extent of the damage. His chest looked crushed, and his hip strangely twisted. A long splinter protruded from his abdomen, and his shirt was soaked in blood. Menk shook his head. "He's beyond help. A mercy killing will save him and us both misery." I am going to try and save him. I am very much under the impression that there is no hope for this man from all of my previous attempts. However, as was put in the comments very recently on one of my older attempts, apparently it is possible. So let's keep rolling that RNG until we find out what it truly takes to save this soldier. Because you've got to try, you know. I ordered Cumberbund and Menk. First, I wanted to get him out of this wreckage and then decide whether I would expose my men to the danger of carrying him to the military hospital. There, the nurses could determine whether and how to help him. Okay, so we are going to have a task of taking him to the trench. We can ignore the rations for a day. It is more exhausting, and it also consumes ammunition. It may be not quite, but it's still very prudent to keep one's head down under these circumstances. So I will have to get ammunition next turn. Let's go look at our defensive positions. Lots, how can we help you? Herr Unterofficer, the advanced emplacement has been destroyed by artillery. Now we're missing a well-covered position there, and the French have an easy way into our trenches. I'm afraid that if we try to rebuild a position directly at the front line, the French will do their best to prevent it. Then, of course, we have... We have the construction tutorial. We do have rebuilding placement. Now, I don't have to do this, but personally, I quite like having maybe at least one project on there. So if I suddenly look at it and go, oh, wait, I've got some men to spare, I can always then go and do the building project. So, Lieutenant von Karlsberg, how can I help you? The artillery must have destroyed one of our telephone lines. Instruct one of your men to carry this message to the command post immediately. It looks like the French are planning an attack, and we urgently need more men. Okay. So, with that, I don't think I have any Speedy Gonzaleses, but let's just say Cummerbund is not running a message. I also do, however, want someone who is a bit by the book. And we're going to send Mank, simply because he is also somewhat jaded, so he is not going to care about our wounded soldier. Now, for this, reviews emotions when suffering and death is such a central part of everyday life, and yet that is perhaps when it is most important. He is faltering, so I'm not going to send him, because it might not do him too good. And he is also very compassionate, so that makes me actually kind of want to send him, but because of the faltering, I'm not going to. So for this, I'm going to use Lots and Mail. That means obviously we're not going to do the rebuilding, but that's just that, basically. I am, however... He can go and get us some rations. We'll put ourselves back up to 3. Although I have a feeling it might not matter too much, because I think we're about to go into combat next turn anyway, which is also why I'm not too worried about the ammunition. Let's hit next turn, because obviously having done this before, I do... Some projects are locked. This is symbolized by the padlock on the icon. Of course, yes, because we are under heavy artillery, I have to convince people to do jobs, which is okay, because, to be honest with you, very good thing we just improved our rations to max last turn, so we can hide in our bunker for a turn. Hopefully, depending on what Lieutenant has to say about it. The wounded man we took to the field hospital. Unfortunately, he died. We did what he could. The people in the field hospital too. I guess it was just too late for him. I'm glad we tried, but it's still saddening. I'm obviously not going to try and convince anyone to do a job. The lieutenant is leaving us alone for the turn. They all got a negative event. He got a double negative event because, as I said, the soldier died, which is such a shame. But apparently he can be saved. So, hey, we'll keep rolling that RNG dice until it comes true. So, I'm going to have everybody hold up in the bunker. There's no point in risking anybody. We have ammunition. We have rations. We have bandages. So let's just hit next turn. And let's keep moving forward. And here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Friday, March 5th. For the past day, my men and I have been sitting tightly packed in our bunker while French artillery rained down salvo after salvo of death and destruction on us. Now, yes, the artillery is quite loud, and I do apologize for that. I will have a quick look at, shall we say, maybe sound effect volume in between episodes, because it's loud. During the hard work of our first days in the... As soon as I start speaking again, it's just rude. During the hard work of our first days in the trenches, I had hardly found a quiet minute to have a personal conversation with my men. So now, they were sitting next to me, tense and still mostly strangers, and I fervently hoped that they would survive the shelling unscathed. The silence between us was in sharp contrast to the constant droning outside. When, after hours, the firing suddenly stopped. A sigh of relief went through the ranks of some of the young soldiers. However, that was the moment when the veterans of the other troops tensed up and began to load their rifles. A cacophony of whistles snapped us out of our stupor as well. The French were attacking. Now, with God for Kaiser and Vaterland will help Cummerbund amazingly. However, I'm going to go for stay together, people. Let's stay together. Let's all get through this. Stay together, people! I shouted to my soldiers and led them to our positions in the trenches. Together, we halted and mentally prepared ourselves for the upcoming battle. And then here we have the first battle about to start, with things going mental all around me. Like I said, I'll try and look at that in the interim. That is a little bit loud, to be honest. And let us get through this first battle stage. There's the French. The enemy has superior numbers. We may soon have to retreat from these trenches. Herr Unterofficer, You and your green Huns are to collect ammunition and evacuate all the ammunition you can find. If we lose this trench, at least we won't lose our equipment. Leave. And then this is the battle phase. And again, this is where a lot of the big changes has happened. Taking cover will reduce stress, reduce the risk of injury, and may remove out of breath. Fire on sight will consume ammunition and shoots at every enemy in sight. Now we also have search alcove and search hideouts. Has a chance of finding ammunition, finding bandages, and also of finding grenades, and it is part of my task. So, searching the alcove can be Cummerbund, searching the hideout can be Menk, as they are my attentive people. And then, fire on sight. Do I wish? Consume my own ammunition. And then, of course, you can choose to suppress any French troops that you see available in your line of sight. These are some of the changes. Fire on sight has replaced suppression, and suppressed French troops has now become an extra option. Anyone you can see in a good line of sight. However, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to have my people take cover. Because quite frankly, that is the job I've been given. Troop commands, advanced tactical movement, and retreat. Yes, we also know all that as well. We can... What did we find first? There was still a lot of ammunition and first aid supplies. I took everything I could find. Nice. I was able to find some ammunition. These guys are going to suppress enemies. These guys are going to shoot at every enemy in sight, as are these. Now we have some ammunition back here. We have lots of ammunition back here. Troop commands, cover, flanked, and melee range. We are going to come back into excellent cover, and we are going to look to find some equipment. We should be pretty good going through here. It's a good route. Let's go. Move to next cover. May add out of breath. Then we will be taking a rest in the next location. So, hopefully nobody gets shot, and hopefully nobody gets out of breath. Search the crates. Everybody is looking good. Searching crates can go to Meg. Oh, that would put us in grenade range. Let's not be doing that. You will be searching crates. Oh, we are in grenade range of these guys already. Interesting. Now, apparently now when you throw a grenade, not only do you see it, but it also looks rather glorious. Let's throw a hand grenade at French troop number 3. And also, just because... Oh, suppression does take 3 people. Let's not do that then. Let's potentially add fire on sight to these guys. This guy is trained in shooting, so let's see what we can do. French troop number 3 has 4 people. Let's see how this goes. Now, there should be a throwing grenade animation. Ooh, there it goes. And I missed superbly. Love it. Oh, where's that guy going? Oh, no, somebody's injured. Oh, is he not? No, he's returning. Oh! And that was beautiful throw by them. They threw a grenade right back at me. Ammunition and first aid supplies. A few splinters got me. Mail. I must have misjudged the distance. A few splinters got me. Oh, we do have some lightly wounded going around. That is not good. Let's get very far back. That will get me flanked. That will get me flanked. That doesn't, but I don't like it for a position. That will keep me in grenade range. Right. Let's... That will take me out of grenade range. Very low danger from these guys. You know, let's get back. Let's retreat a long way. Let's get my guys out of here, quite frankly. Well, I have less of those grenades coming over. Thank you very much. Any minute now, I am expecting that whistle to retreat. And I am hoping... Heads down, artillery. That should be enough, right? We've collected quite a lot now and can't carry much more. Is there... Ooh, unfortunately, there's nothing back here to collect. We have not been ordered to retreat quite yet. Oh, wait, there is something back there. Although what is... It doesn't look like I have a mission mandate at this point. Let's get back here, shall we? I mean, I've not been told to stand and fight, so hopefully retreating doesn't annoy the lieutenant too much. Because I'm not technically going out of the fight. So now I should be able to collect a little bit more. Any minute now we're going to be told to retreat, I do imagine. Because the French are coming. Any minute now, we should be told to retreat behind... I say behind the river. I can't even see... Oh, there it is. There's the river. Oh, I'm about to say, yeah, it's taking a little bit longer for these end turns. Because we are having a bit more movement by the looks of it. But, it's... I also can't see what's going on sometimes, which gets a little bit... We are falling back. Retreat to the next defensive line. Find equipment. We should provide cover fire so our comrades can retreat. Mank? There were still a lot of combat supplies here. I took everything I could find. Nice. Now, we are quite far back. Here are some of our troops. There are some of our troops. These guys are away from the battle. I would like to say that I'm away from the battle, but I'm actually not. These guys, on the other hand, are not. So, do you know what? We're very far back and we're very safe. So let's... One round of fire on sight. Provide a bit of cover for these guys, hopefully. And then I am out of here. Okay, yeah, these guys are coming back. The French are coming, the French are coming, the French are coming everywhere. There they are, they're over there as well. The French are now a little bit close. These guys are all still in the battle. Oh, maybe we took out that Frenchman, maybe we didn't. I'm not quite sure. What I do know is we should retreat a little bit more before we end up too badly out of position, basically. There is no danger. And here are our guys here. Let's take a step back. Potentially provide some covering fire once more, but that French squad is getting a little bit close for my liking. We are not very well behind cover. Lots. Damn. My wound has gotten worse. Please let's escape quickly. I don't know how much longer I can hold out. Well, in that case, let's keep going. I need to get across the river. If we retreat here, we'll have to cut through some barbed wire. Also the same for here. If we retreat here, we might then be able to get through this gap. So let's keep going. I need to get Lotz out of here before his wound gets any worse. It is already a little bit bad. And I'd rather not lose someone this early. Here you go. Let's keep getting out of here. And hopefully this should be the end of combat. And yep, task completed. Combat is out of breath, and so let us end this combat phase. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, we are also going to end this opening level. So that we've already seen some of the changes that have gone and been implemented thus far. I think they are amazing, giving you more information to be able to see what exactly is going on. And then also the changes to combat, which I think will be very good going forward, which we will see more of in a actual battle phase. This was just kind of the tutorial one, but we did get to see them, which is quite nice, but we'll see them properly later. And as soon as that artillery finishes, that just leaves me to say that until next time, I hope you've enjoyed the episode and you will come back for the rest of it. And until next time, it just leaves me to say that until we see you again, I hope that you can stay safe, happy, and healthy.